All right, wait a minute. I want to get this because this is pretty important. Start over. Jerry Allen was who? You knew him personally.
Yeah,
This is Slater, Missouri, which is right in the middle of Missouri.
he was. All right, at my grandmother's farm. You've been up
Yeah.
there.
The Carson farm?
No,
The Williams farm.
Williams farm.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, we were outside the house in the yard. The barn had cupola on top of it, and we're in the yard. And there was a sparrow, and Jimmy was talking about how good Jerry could shoot. Jerry,
And Jimmy was your uncle.
yeah,
Yeah.
my uncle. He raised up 7, 8, 9, 10, all through. He was from a poor family, and they would give him 122. Give him the rifle. You go out, and you get dinner.
That's serious right there.
That's it. That meant now if
You're
you
not
don't-
eating. You miss.
Yeah, you miss. You don't eat. All right. And listen to all that stuff, and then to prove it, Jimmy gave me the rifle. Said, "Hit that sparrow." Now this is like 100 yards, or maybe it wasn't quite 100 yards, but it's a long distance. It's like holding that up and say, "Hit it." And hey, if the wind ain't just right, or anything ain't perfect, you ain't gonna do it. Boy, and he shot at sparrow, just tumbled all down. I said, if I hadn't seen it,
You wouldn't believe
I
it.
wouldn't believe it. It was that good. And now, I tell you what, I can remember going up, and I'll say from the bedroom in there to this wall here, from a fence post, like that, and drive a nail in the fence post and stand across and shoot to hit the nail. Now, I was a pretty good shot. And when I went in the service, I remember going to the firing line, and there in the military, you probably seen this where you lay down and you wrap that
Yeah, prone.
prone position. And Sergeant had everybody laying. I'm standing up. He said, "How come you in a prone position?" I said, "That's cheating."
I'm used to doing this standing up.
I said, I took that rifle. I put every bullet right in the dead center.
Well,
He said,
they took your weapon, because
Oh, yeah,
some
yeah.
people were
Oh.
basically just trying to not
Well-
give you that advantage.
said, "Man, where did you learn to shoot like that?" I said, "Well, I come from in the country. We had a 22 rifle."
Yeah, that's called getting dinner.
Yeah, you just
So you were in the army from 54 to 56, right?
Yeah.
But Jerry Allen, that was the end of World War II.
Yeah,
And so say it again. He got pulled out of basic training to go over to the Philippines.
yeah. They need him as a sniper, and that's what he
This
was.
is a black man in World War II coming out of in basic training. They looked at his pattern that he was every time he would fire his weapon. It was so tight. They said, "Listen, pull this guy out, put him in the field right now."
Yep.
A
2
black
weeks.
man. That's
4 weeks. And right up in the paper, when it happened, because this don't happen. You don't find somebody 2 weeks of basic training. But he's so good, once he went on his firing range and helped, they said, his whole pattern, so they didn't believe it was true. He could not be putting every...
They're probably going down. All right, check that. Check that.
it's
No
same-
one should be firing right now to
Yeah.
make sure no one was
Well,
scoping in on it.
I said, it could not be. No, they'd never seen anybody who have a hole pack. All your bullets are in the same damn hole.
Yeah.
Most of the time you go up there, I don't know if you, well,
Well, it's two ways that you think about it, right? It's like having a tight pattern, right? But then accuracy is making sure that tight pattern is in the bullseye. So you want both of those boxes to be checked,
Well,
right?
he was so good that they couldn't believe that all these bullets were going through the same hole. It was,
Yeah. He had a tight pattern in the bullseye.
That's
which is
right.
hard to do.
It was all the same, And I don't know, I tell you, now, I could not shoot like he could, but I was good enough to stand up and with a rifle at 100 yards, and everybody else laying down, he would, and like this. I said, I told Sark, I said, that's cheating. He said, well, where did you learn to shoot? Look here, up 300 and 500 yards. Now at 500, I did get down in like that,
Yeah.
but on the up to the 300, hey, I was good as anybody standing up.
So wait, you said that he went and did a number of tours over in the Philippines, right? And then when he came back, they threw this big parade,
War was over.
and they expected him to be white, but you know when this black man showed up, it caught everyone off guard.
Yeah.
But you were saying to the credit of people of Slater, it didn't matter to them.
Well,
To
what
some of them.
happened? Some of the guys he was in service with came home with him, and of course they knew what was going on. They just didn't know that nobody else knew he was black, because the guys that he served in the service with, they knew he was black because, you know, the same outfit and everything. And they credited him with saving, and they told a story. And I tell you what, there was a movie out similar to this, and I can remember seeing it, but he was, let's see, they described it, how was it? They would be going through the jungle, and they said he was so keen because of his hunting background that, you know, like he said, hell, when he was got to get breakfast or get dinner, if a leaf moved on a tree, there's a squirrel there, he could tell it, you know, anything he picked up, it was that sharp. And so he said these Japanese, being, and if a tree, limb, or something, you heard it crack, he'll pick them off. And he saved hundreds of lives because of this. And I tell you, the write-up, I tell you, I remember that to the day I died. The Kansas City Star, and my aunt and uncle lived in Kansas City. And then the Marshall people had write-ups about him. And then when he come home after the war, they got off the train with him and his buddies, and they had this big turnout celebration about Jerry Allen. But then nobody realized that Jerry Allen was black until they saw him get off. Because, you know, you draft all over the country,
Yeah.
and see there, Marshall, about what, 65 miles Kansas City, and Kansas City Star. I remember my grandparents and them, they'd get a paper from Kansas City. My aunt lived in Kansas City, and they would send these clippings home about Jerry, this and the other. Because Jerry had worked out for my grandmother, grandfather, you know, as a teenager, you know, growing up. And, boy, but when that happened, and then they like had a riot, because the white guys who was in service with him, they wasn't going to take that shit. This guy, we owe our lives to him.
Yeah, we're alive because of this man.
Yeah, we're alive
you
because
guys
of
have to honor him. You can get over
this
color
boy,
thing.
yeah, get over that. And boy, when that happened, and see, my uncle, hell, he looked like he was white, you know, so he was there when all this happened, you know, and he'd come back and tell us about it. It made tears in your eyes. But he said the restaurant said no blacks in here, and he white said, "No, what the fuck you talking about?"
He's gonna eat.
He's gonna eat, and he's gonna eat.
And he's gonna eat well.
He's gonna eat well, and you're gonna serve this man, or the war is gonna be here, you know. And see, that's something else in the service. A lot of white guys will stand up with you quicker than black people will. Boy, I tell you, I've had that happen with me, you know, in the service. Boy, I said, you mess with Kenny. And that's one thing. White guys from the South, if they considered you your buddy, hey, they were with you. I'll always remember that.
It's funny about that. How it's that way sometimes.
Yeah, and you know, you think about it now. We had this one guy who was a mail clerk. He was from New York.